Hello children, welcome back to ICT class. This is our video class number 47 and from this class onwards we will start new chapter which is the remaining chapter in ICT textbook, chapter 10, Inside a Computer. So this is not like other chapter, it is a theory oriented chapter and there is no practical activities other to complete. So it's a easy chapter. Okay, so in this chapter you will learn about what the components that are used in the computer and how to connect these components using some connectors. And last year and all I am showing each and every activity using projectors now. So while connecting that projector with the system, I am using some cables. Do you remember that cables? VGA cable, HDMI cable. So you will learn about these connectors name. Then microprocessor, then what? Memory of computer, primary memory and secondary memory, hard disk. So these are the topics in 10th chapter. It's a theory chapter and it's also easy chapter. Okay. So we'll start new chapter from today onwards. Then before moving on to today's session, let's see the objective behind today's class. The learner will learn about changes in computer components and how to connect the devices with the computer, and also to learn about visual display unit, which means different kinds of monitors that we are using today. So let's start the class with the first topic, changes in computer components. You might have noticed that the computer generation is growing day by day and we can see a drastic changes in the components of a computer, isn't it? What are the changes do you observe? Reduction in size, increase the storage capacity. For example, you are using mobile phones now. So in the earlier days, the storage capacity will be 2 GB, 4 GB. Now you can see 64 GB, 128 GB like that. So each and every day, technology is growing and there are a drastic changes in the structure of computer components, and also computer structure is changing day by day. Previous year and all earlier days we are using CRT monitors. Okay, then one white color computer with back is projected. So that is what the earlier computer. After that, nowadays we can see like in a LCD format computers. So technology is growing day by day and the changes are reduction in size, increase the storage capacity, reduction in size of computer, reduction in size of the components, and now we are using wireless keyboard and mouse. So there are a drastic changes among this computer technology. Then 2 points is given in your textbook, page number 136. You can include more points. What are the changes do you observe in the computer and the computer components? And in your textbook, page number 137, a picture of a mouse is given. Earlier days we are using this kind of mouse. Nowadays we are using wireless mouse and all. So that is what the changes. And then what are the input and output devices of a computer? Input devices, this topic you already have learned in previous year, 8th standard. So what are the input devices? First chapter you have learned. Input devices, keyboard, mouse, etc. Then what output devices are monitor, then speaker, etc. So the picture of a mouse which we are using in the earlier days is given in page number 137. You can see the change in that structure of the mouse, of previous mouse and the mouse we are using today. So like this, every components have changed a lot. And also one computer is there which is called as Raspberry Pi. Raspberry Pi. It is given in page number 136. In a box you can see. It is a credit card sized computer. Can you imagine like a computer of a credit card size? You are using ATM cards now. So that size is this Raspberry Pi computer. It's a newest generation of computer, Raspberry Pi. It's a credit card sized computer with which we can do every activity that we are doing in the normal computer. Every activity which we are doing in the normal computer are available in this Raspberry Pi. Mostly we are using this Raspberry Pi for educational purposes. For educational purposes we are using this Raspberry Pi. For example, we can control in our home also we can use this Raspberry Pi. We can control light, fan, then what, AC, fridge. By using this Raspberry Pi, different sensors can be connected to this Raspberry Pi and we can control each and every devices in our home. And also we can connect a camera to this Raspberry Pi computer and we can fix that Raspberry Pi in our home, so that it will take the images of the intruders who are coming to the home. So likewise we can do any activity, and which are the activity that available in a computer, normal computer are available in this Raspberry Pi also, and it is one of the newest generation of computer. That's what I said, day by day the technology of the computer is increasing, both in the structure, in the size, in the storage capacity, the components, everything are changing day by day, and one of the newest technology or newest computer is called as Raspberry Pi. It is given in page number 136. Credit card sized computer with which every activity that we are doing in normal computer can be done in this Raspberry Pi computer. It's a credit card size small computer, and also it consumes low electricity. That is one of the biggest advantage of this Raspberry Pi. We can do every computer programs related to different purposes that we are using in a normal computer. We can do different computer programs and we can install that programs in a memory card, and we can place that memory card or SD card in this Raspberry Pi. So according to that computer program, this computer also will work. So this is what known as Raspberry Pi. Then now we are moving to connecting the devices. What are the different devices in a computer? We can connect mouse, keyboard, then what, scanner, printer. So many input and output devices are there in the computer, and inside the computer we have motherboard, microprocessor, then what, memories, RAM, ROM, hard disk, etc. So how we can connect these devices, and components other than input and output devices together connected is called as cabinet. Cabinet. The devices other than the input and output devices are connected in a cabinet. It is given in page number 137, third paragraph. It is given, in desktop computer all components rather than the input and output devices are kept inside a box called as cabinet. So how this monitor, keyboard, then what, mouse, etc. connected to the cabinet? With the help of some connectors. These are connected to the port seen in the cabinet of a computer using different kind of connectors. Okay, that third paragraph in page number 137. So other than input and output devices, other than input and output devices means there are different other components like processors, RAM, ROM, then what, BIOS chip, that many components are there other than input and output devices. They are together connected called as cabinet. In a cabinet they are all connected. So other devices are connected in a cabinet. And what about the input and output devices? How they are connected? Like keyboard, how we can connect keyboard, how we can connect mouse, or how we can connect scanner, printer, etc. Other than input and output devices we are connecting in a cabinet. And what about the input and output devices? They are connected in the ports. Okay, PORTS. They are connected, both input and output devices are connected to the port of a cabinet. In a cabinet you can see some USB port. In a computer you can see some USB port, isn't it? So in that port we can connect the keyboard, mouse, printer, scanner, etc. We are connecting all the input and output devices to the port of a cabinet, and other than input and output devices every components are connecting together in a cabinet. So this is what the difference. Okay, other than input and output devices connecting to the cabinet, and all the input and output devices are connecting to the port of the cabinet by using what? How we can connect monitor, how we can view it in a projector. What we are doing in a computer, we can display it in the projector. How that connection happens? By using connectors. Different connectors are there. One of the main connector, you are using modem in your home. No. So how we can connect this modem to the telephone line? By using one connector called RJ11. Then so many UTP cables are there connecting to the computer. So that wires cannot be connected alone. There is a connector called RJ45. In that tip you can see one white color transparent, that connector. So different connectors are there. That is what our second topic, connecting these devices to the port of the cabinet or computer by using different connectors, and it is given in page number 137, a table you can see. So interfaces of certain equipments and their names are given here. Examine the computers in your school computer lab and write down it in the table. Names of the equipment that can be connected to each of the interface. So you can see in table 10.1, here you can see this connectors. So many connectors are given in your textbook, and you have to write the corresponding equipments that we are connecting with the help of these connectors. So first one is PS2. That connectors you can see in the side, you can see that port image you can see. So to that PS2 port we can connect mouse and keyboard. In your school computer lab, in some CPU we are connecting this mouse and keyboard to the PS2 port, round like structure. Then next one is VGA. Do you remember this VGA cable? Video graphics array. We can connect this VGA cable to the monitor or to the computer in order to view it in projector. So we can connect to the monitor or projector. Then DVI, digital visual interface. It is also related with the monitor. Then HDMI, high definition multimedia interface. It is also related with the monitor or projector. Then USB, that you all know. USB, universal serial bus, that we can connect to the keyboard, mouse. Then what? Yes, keyboard, mouse, scanner also maybe. You can see the corresponding USB serial bus. Then next one is RJ45. Mainly RJ45 is used for connecting UTP cable to the computer. Then or telephone. Telephone network, mostly we are using RJ11, and this connector RJ45 is used for connecting the corresponding UTP cable to the computer. Then last one, TRS, tip ring sleeve connector. That is we are using to connect microphone, speaker, etc. So these are the corresponding equipment with the connector, and don't need to study the equipment name, just study the name of connectors. Okay, PS2, VGA, DVI, that full form. Just study the abbreviation of these connectors. And one thing to be noticed is that carefully fix the connectors to the port, or else the pin in the connector may get broken or bent. So what will happen? This will lead to the disruption of information transfer, and the equipment may get destroyed. So always be careful while fixing this connector to the port, or else the pin in the connector will get broken or bent. So these are the important port and connectors that we are using today. Okay, so just study the abbreviation of these equipments. Okay, that only that important, no need to study the equipment name. And one of the port is described in your textbook. One connector, USB, universal serial bus, and that definition is given in your textbook, page number 139, USB. So you have to study what is USB. One such port is defined in your textbook. USB is an advanced technology that helps in speedy transfer of the information between equipments. In our computer, you can see the USB port. In that USB port, we can connect the USB, which means a pen drive we can connect. So what does USB indicate? Speedy transfer of information. And some keyboard and mouse also you can see that wired keyboard and mouse, you can see USB port that we are connecting to the computer. So speedy transfer of information between equipments. Apart from ordinary USB connectors, micro USB connectors are also used nowadays. You are using wireless mouse and all, isn't it? So, wireless mouse, you will get a chip, small micro USB that we are connecting to the computer, and we can use the mouse, wired mouse, Bluetooth mouse. So, micro USB connectors are also used in mobile phones, laptops, etc. Then they are used for supplying electricity to those instruments that require a minimum electricity. You might have seen mobile phone chargers, fan, light, etc. working with USB. In mobile phone, we can see a small port, small USB port, micro USB port for charging. We are using that small USB port. That's what described in your textbook. The new generation of USB equipment is 3.0, USB 3.0 technology, which has high speed of data transfer. That is the newest USB version 3.0. So, this is described in your textbook. So, you have to study what is USB, universal serial bus. Okay. So, that is what our next topic, connecting the devices. Next is about output devices. What are the output devices? Monitor, projector. What we are giving into the computer will provide us as output. We are giving to the computer using input devices, and in the computer that data will get processed and they will display that data, and we can view it using some devices, and that devices for displaying is known as what? Output devices. And two major output device, one is monitor and other one is projector. So, how these projectors are connected? Using some cables or connectors that we have already discussed. Then different type of monitors are there. So, that is what our next topic, visual display unit. Different type of monitors was there. One is earlier version, what? CRT, cathode ray tube monitor. In a computer lab and all, earlier days you can see the computer. Last year in our computer lab also we can see that computer, one white color computer with back and projected. So, CRT computers are there, CRT monitors was there. Then what? Then LCD monitors are there, LED monitors are there. So, that is what? Visual display unit. In page number 139 it is described. So, what are the different kind of monitors that we are using nowadays? Okay. So, you have understood that monitors are attached to the computers through VGA cable adapters or HDMI cable or digital visual interface port we are using, or we are attaching the monitors or computers, okay, to the projector. We can see the display by connecting these type of connectors. So, what are the different type of visual display units? Monitors. Monitors are commonly known as visual display unit. First one is cathode ray tube, CRT monitors. What is the disadvantage? It will consume more electricity than other monitors, but the thin film transistor, TFT, and liquid crystal display, LCD monitors that we are using nowadays consume very little electric power and are more clear and vibrant. The screen will be, the visual will be more clear and vibrant in LCD and TFT monitor comparing to the CRT monitors. Then next generation are LED, light emitting diode, also OLED, organic light emitting diode technologies are also commonly used in display units. They also provide clear and vibrant screen and will also provide visual clarity. So, these are the different generation of monitors that we are using today. It is one of the important question from this chapter. Study three categories. One is cathode ray tube monitor, second category is TFT LCD monitor, and third one is LED and OLED monitor. So, that is all about today. So, in today's class we have discussed about what all are the topics. Yes, first topic was changes in computer components. So, there was a drastic change had happened in the structure and size of the computer components, reduction of size, increase in the storage capacity, then reduction in the size of components, etc. So these are the drastic changes that had happened in the computer technology, and the newest technology is Raspberry Pi. It's a credit card sized computer, and the facilities that are available in a normal computer are also available in Raspberry Pi. It consumes only very low electricity, and mostly we are using this corresponding computer for educational purposes. And then next we have discussed about input and output devices. So there are a lot of input and output devices, and the devices other than input and output devices connected or kept inside a box is called as cabinet. And how are components like monitor, keyboard, mouse, etc. connected to the cabinet? These are connected using port seen in the cabinet of the computer using different kind of connectors. That was our next topic, different kind of connectors and the equipment used. So study the name of the connectors like PS2, VGA, DVI, HDMI, etc. Study the names of that connectors. Next we have discussed about one important connector or port called USB, Universal Serial Bus. You all are familiar with USB. Nowadays we are using USB in our mobile phones, micro USB in our mobile phones, then wireless mouse we are using this micro USB, then wired keyboard and mouse we are using USB port, then charging, fan, light, etc. Nowadays we are using USB port for speedy transfer of information. That is what the use of your universal serial bus. And last topic we have discussed is that visual display unit. Monitors are commonly known as visual display unit, and different kind of monitors, cathode ray tube, LCD, LED, etc. So these are today's class topics, some introduction about components and monitors, different kind of monitors. So hope you all have understood about today's class session. Here is the homework question for you. Try to do this homework and write it down in your notebook. Find out the answers of this question and write it in your notebook. Okay. So that's all for today. We'll continue in the next class. Do your homework, study well, take care. Thank you and have a nice day.